Welcome, everyone. Today, we embark on an exploration of a deeply resonant topic: the interplay between fear and faith. This journey is guided by the profound insights of C.S. Lewis, a celebrated thinker and writer whose own spiritual voyage from skepticism to robust faith offers invaluable lessons on confronting and mastering our fears. Lewis, who is perhaps best known for his allegorical tales and rigorous defense of Christianity, delved deeply into the nature of fear, examining how it challenges but can ultimately enhance our faith. Throughout his works, especially in Mere Christianity, Lewis candidly shared his personal encounters with fear, from the visceral terror of surgery to the philosophical dread of the unknown. These experiences serve not only as a mirror reflecting our own fears, but also as a map that shows us how we might navigate our anxieties through faith. His approach is not one of dismissing fear, but understanding its origin, its impact, and its antidote through a reasoned trust in the divine. In this video, we will dissect Lewis's thoughts on the dynamic relationship between fear and faith. We will see how he used both his intellect and his spiritual insights to forge a shield of faith strong enough to withstand the multifaceted forms of fear that we encounter in life. By integrating examples from Lewis's writings with relevant scriptural references, we aim to provide you with both comfort and practical strategies to strengthen your own emotional and spiritual resilience. Join me as we delve into this compelling dialogue between fear and faith, discovering how to harness our beliefs to not only face our fears, but to transcend them, guided by the wisdom of C.S. Lewis and the timeless teachings of Scripture. This exploration is not just about combating fear, but about empowering ourselves to live with courage and conviction in the face of life's inevitable uncertainties. Overcoming fear with faith. C.S. Lewis's Guide to Emotional Resilience. Fear is a primal human emotion, innate, powerful, and at times paralyzing. How we react to fear not only shapes our immediate responses, but also molds the trajectory of our lives. C.S. Lewis, an intellectual stalwart and a beacon of faith, deeply understood the complexities of fear. His writings, particularly in works like Mere Christianity, provide not just a reflection of his personal struggles with fear, but also a framework on how to effectively confront it. Lewis's contemplations on fear are grounded in both personal experience and philosophical inquiry. He famously illustrated his confrontation with fear using a relatable scenario: his own dread of anesthesia before surgery. He described the panic that ensues as the mask is placed over his face, a moment where fear irrationally overwhelms reason, despite knowing the safety of the procedure. This vivid example not only highlights the clash between knowledge and emotion, but also acts as a bridge to understanding how deeply fear can root itself in our psyche. But Lewis didn't stop at merely identifying the problem. He sought a solution: faith. Not a blind faith, but a reasoned trust grounded in the character and promises of God. This approach is mirrored in Scripture, particularly in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, which tells us, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-discipline." Here, faith isn't just an emotional response. It's a deliberate choice, a choice to trust in what we cannot see, and sometimes what our emotions struggle to believe. Lewis argued that faith and reason are not opponents, but allies in the battle against fear. He believed that reason lays the groundwork for faith, which in turn empowers us to rise above our emotional turmoil. This symbiotic relationship forms a robust bulwark against fear. When fear whispers doubts into our ears, faith, fortified by reason, responds with a resounding voice of conviction. Consider the teachings of Christ in Matthew 6 verse 34, where he advises, "Therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Here, Christ does not dismiss our fears, but redirects our focus towards trust and not being consumed by worries for the future. So, how can we apply these insights into our daily lives? Lewis provides practical guidance by advocating for a life of humble faith, continually coming back to the principles of Scripture and prayer. It's about making faith a daily practice, choosing every day to trust God rather than succumb to fear. We are also called to action, as seen in Philippians 4 verse 6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. These practices, prayer, reflection on Scripture, and the exercise of gratitude, build our faith and quell our fears. The process of overcoming fear with faith is not a singular event, but a lifelong journey. Each fear we face, each uncertainty we encounter, offers us a chance to deepen our faith and cultivate emotional resilience. Like C.S. Lewis, who faced numerous personal and intellectual challenges, we too can learn to use our experiences as stepping stones to greater spiritual maturity. C.S. Lewis did not view his conversion to Christianity as the end of his journey with fear. Instead, he saw it as the start of a continuous dialogue between his fears and his newfound faith. In his later works, such as the Screwtape Letters, Lewis offers a portrayal of how persistent and cunning fears can manipulate our thoughts. Yet, he also provides us with a blueprint for resistance, an unwavering, thoughtful faith that questions and confronts. This concept is reinforced by the biblical account of David in the Psalms, who often expressed profound fear and distress, yet consistently turned back to God's promises for comfort and protection. For instance, Psalm 56 verse 3 states, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you." This verse encapsulates the act of turning to faith when fear seems overwhelming, a practice that can help us navigate our darkest moments. Lewis believed that adversity and challenges were not merely obstacles, but essential elements of spiritual growth. He argued that these difficulties force us to confront our limitations and our fears, pushing us to rely not on our own strength, but on the strength provided by faith. This is echoed in James 1 verses 2 to 4, which encourages believers to consider trials as pure joy because they test faith and develop perseverance, leading to spiritual maturity. Another crucial aspect of building resilience against fear is the community. Lewis valued the support and insight he received from his close circle of friends, known as the Inklings, who were instrumental in his spiritual and intellectual development. In a similar way, we can lean on our faith communities for support, drawing strength from shared experiences and collective wisdom. The New Testament highlights the importance of community in Hebrews 10 verses 24 to 25, urging believers to consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together. This scriptural advice underscores the significance of gathering with others who can encourage us in our faith, especially when fears threaten to overwhelm us. Incorporating daily practices that reinforce our faith is essential for building resilience. This might include regular prayer, setting aside specific times each day for prayer, where fears are laid before God, scripture reading, engaging with the Bible daily to remind ourselves of God's promises and our identity in Him, journaling, writing down our fears and the ways we see God working in our lives as a method of tracking spiritual growth and answered prayers, community involvement, participating in church groups or small Bible study groups to share our struggles and victories. As we explore these strategies and reflect on the teachings of C.S. Lewis alongside biblical principles, we find that the journey through fear towards faith is paved with opportunities for growth and transformation. By committing to a lifestyle of faith, Practiced daily and supported by a community, we prepare ourselves not just to face our fears, but to transcend them. As we bring our exploration to a close, it's clear that the journey of overcoming fear with faith is both challenging and rewarding. Drawing from the wisdom of C.S. Lewis and the timeless truths of Scripture, we've discovered not only the nature of fear, but also the powerful role that faith can play in conquering it. This process, as Lewis illustrated through his own life and writings, is continuous and dynamic, requiring both courage and commitment. C.S. Lewis's approach to fear was not about denial, but about confrontation through the lens of faith. He recognized that while fear is a natural and often uncontrollable reaction to the uncertainties of life, our responses to it are within our control. By choosing faith over fear, we align ourselves with a power greater than our own and find strength in the promises of God. The scriptures we've discussed, from Timothy's reminders of the spirit of power and love given to us by God, to Christ's counsel on anxiety in Matthew, all reinforce the idea that our spiritual journey involves daily decisions to trust and not be overwhelmed by the anxieties of tomorrow. Living out this faith requires practical steps, which we've outlined in our discussions. Engaging with Scripture and prayer. These practices ground us in truth and connect us deeply with God, reinforcing our faith when fears arise. Building community connections. Sharing our struggles and triumphs with a faith community provides support and encourages us to persevere. Embracing adversity as opportunity. Challenges should not be feared, but seen as opportunities for growth and deepening faith. We've also seen how powerful it can be to share our stories of fear and faith. Just as Lewis shared his vulnerabilities and how he overcame them through faith, we too can encourage others by sharing our experiences. These testimonies not only affirm the strength that comes from faith, but also help build a community of believers who can face fears with courage. Remember, the journey does not end here. Each day presents new challenges and new opportunities to exercise our faith. Like C.S. Lewis, who continued to explore and express his faith through his writings and teachings, we must continually seek to understand and apply our faith in all aspects of life. This journey of faith is not a path of ease, but it is one of profound peace and purpose. As you move forward, consider how you can implement these insights into your daily life. Start small, perhaps with a daily reading plan or joining a small group at your church. Encourage others by sharing your journey and listening to theirs. Let us not just be hearers of these truths, but doers who actively apply them, transforming our fears into milestones of faith. Thank you for joining this exploration into overcoming fear with faith through the guidance of C.S. Lewis and the wisdom of the Scriptures. May your path be illuminated by the light of faith, guiding you through the shadows of fear. May you find the strength to face each day with courage and the peace that comes from trusting in a power greater than your own. God bless you with resilience and joy as you continue your journey in faith.